Hey everybody, how's it going? So, record tag 20 vinyl questions. I did record one of these last night. I woke up this morning and watched a little bit of it and decided it sucked. It's kind of my Chung King sessions of my YouTube videos so far. Looked like it had 11 views, 11 whopping views, so I apologize to the baker's dozen of you. Or is that 13? Doesn't matter. So cutting right to the chase here. How many records do I own? I own... My Discogs needs to be updated. I don't know. I own around 900. I own around, and that's LPs. I own around 575 7-inches. How old were you when you started collecting records? I was 13 when I started buying records. I probably started giving a shit about buying stuff specifically on vinyl somewhere in my mid-20s when just downloading everything in sight kind of made things cheap, and I realized I wanted some sort of tactile connection to music. What kind of record player do you have? I have a bunch. Only one is in use right now. It's a U-Turn Orbit. I always have trouble saying this. U-Turn Orbit record player. They're made custom here in Boston. They're actually really cheap. They sound great. I couldn't recommend it enough. You can upgrade with all kinds of neat stuff like clear platters, which I have, and whatever. I think I've got a little Crosley suitcase one just for playing beat up records other places in the house, and an old Techniques that's a belt driven one, automatic one that is collecting dust right now, but we might set up in the office. Oldest record I own. This took a little bit of doing. I have some stuff I couldn't find information on. I have a bunch of old 45s. I was doing the occasional DJ night. So it was always fun to try to mix it up. And I do like some 60s music and soul and stuff like that. So the one that I could find a definite date on, July 1965, is the Heart Full of Soul and For Your Love 45 by the Yardbirds. It's great stuff. Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton. This is kind of when they were getting a little bit more psychedelic, I guess. I don't think this is the version of Heart Full of Soul with the sitar on it. But yeah, I mean, I love the layout of these old... You know, that's the center label matching up the outside. And even though you'll find 45s like this, and they're often beat to shit, but they still play. You know, and this actually doesn't look half bad. What does look pretty bad is the oldest record that I own, which is this copy of AC/DC Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. You can see there's masking tape on it there. It's unplayable, but it's, you know, it's been with me since I was about 12 or 13, and every single move I've been through, I brought it with me. A friend of my dad's daughter, whose name was, I believe, Missy, gave it to me. And I remember both of us having a big laugh over Big Balls, which I still have a big laugh over because I'm pretty much 12 in the brain. So yeah, I think I just beat the shit out of it. It was definitely sort of destroyed when I got it, but a few years later it was unplayable. Quick little aside here. We are listening to Sacrificio, Guerra Eterna, on Iron Bonehead / Nuclear War Now. You guys will probably find out as I continue to do these videos, if I continue to do these videos and have the time, the energy. I'm very picky about black metal. It's a genre that I know the heavy hitters, but I was very resistant to post first wave stuff for a long time, so it's actually been nice watching some of you guys' channels and learning a little bit and trying to think of some new stuff to check out. This though is great. It sounds like a first wave band, but it's not pure worship of specifically Bathory or Old Sodom or Tormentor or anything. It kind of feels like it was in its own place and time, but you know, in the 80s. Plus they have sick helmets. Uno momento. Drop my sheet. Alright. First albums that I got with my own money, because I bought these on the same day at Oliver's Records in Syracuse. Ride the Lightning. And so far so good, so what? You know, obviously both classics. kind of funny because I hated vinyl at the time. I thought CDs were far superior. Some ways they are. I didn't have a very good record player. I had a little combo player, and vinyl sounded like shit to me. You know, it was only like if I could get it cheap. Certain bands that I was going to see at Sunday matinees in Syracuse only had 7 inches available for music, so it was kind of a necessary evil. So yeah, I had those. I beat the shit out of them and ended up hanging them on my wall. Those are different copies. I repurchased them years and years later. Favorite colored vinyl? You know, I kind of agree with Marty. I don't really care about color on vinyl. It's nice to look at. That's cool. However, really awesome, unique packaging that may involve colored vinyl, like the Left 4 Dead Acrid split here. It's a lot of glare. It's obviously in the shape of a buzzsaw, which is fucking badass. Kind of a gray marbled, you know, it kind of almost looks like metal, which is great. Left 4 Dead, if you don't know, is sick metallic hardcore with really fast but really raw recording with like really mean metallic kind of breakdowns, really pissed off lyrics. Fuck your popularity contest, I want to see a murder contest is probably my favorite lyric of all time. Acrid's kind of mid-pace grind. They're not bad. They have a bunch of stuff out. I was kind of meh about them. And discount album you own. Back in the late 90s, picked this Jerry's Kids record up for $2.98. It's classic Boston hardcore. Local guy flipped a bunch of his collection. And I got a ton of great records. Me and a couple of my friends just rated it, and they were all like this. They were like $3 to $7. JFA, Broken Bones, Crucial Youth, a great Discharge live record. Pre-Grave New World, of course. Prized possession. If I had to, you know, gun to my head, had to pick something that was a prized possession, that was an LP, it would probably be this first pressing at Cathedral, Forest of Equilibrium. One of my favorite metal records of all time. Definitely my favorite Doom record. Beautiful Dave Patchett art there. Real weird, vaguely sexual, or maybe blatantly sexual. I don't know. It's a 60+ minute LP pressed on a single LP though, so the sound quality could be better. But it's really nice to have it. I picked this up when about probably over 10 years ago now, when eBay was a little bit kinder with picking stuff up like this. It wasn't cheap, but I got it less than $100 anyway. Record by a female artist. Had to go with Girl School. Some of you, most of you, are probably at least familiar with them for being tour mates and friends with Motorhead. I think one of them dated Lemmy. I don't know. There's a couple songs on this that were re-recorded with Lemmy or with Motorhead. But yeah, it's great rockin', you know, ballsy, punkish, new wave of British heavy metal stuff. Lots and lots of fun. That's great. Record by your favorite band. More of a favorite albums by bands kind of guy, but if I were forced to pick, and this could change at any time, but, you know, I've mentioned The Accused before on here. Kind of sloppy, really frenetic, crazed-sounding crossover thrash. It's definitely been with me for a long time. I think this copy I picked up I know I picked this up in Rochester, New York, at the Record Archive. Printed inner sleeve there. It's got that nice gravestone on it. Sloppy, maniacal, either like horror style lyrics or just the occasional like, oh, socially conscious song, which is kind of funny. Not really any socially conscious songs on this, actually. I'm thinking of the second album that has like We Can All Live Together on it, and then songs about zombies and sewer children. Accused, it's great. Gift. Life's Blood, Defiance, real raw, mean, nasty New York hardcore. It's from the late 80s, but almost kind of sounds more like early 80s New York hardcore. Maybe sort of comparable to I don't know, it doesn't directly sound like any other band, which is good, but I mean, if you like the first Sick of It All record, the first Sick of It All 7-inch, stuff like Antidote, really early Sheer Terror. Somebody called this like the Hellhammer of NYHC because it's super abrasive and rough sounding. Couldn't recommend it more. They open with a nice little chugging number that's basically a diss track on Youth of Today. Never being the biggest Youth of Today fan, I kind of appreciated that. So that's cool. Oh, I skipped Impulse Buy. I did this last time, which is one of the reasons I wanted to record this. I put this back in the playing box because I only listened to it once or twice, and I remember it being good. It's Death Penalty. It's a nice gatefold there. Rise Above Records. It's Gaz Jennings from Cathedral. I'm not sure how long he was in Cathedral. He definitely played on my favorite records, the first two. First LP and the 12-inch after it, Soul Sacrifice. He might have left right after that, which would explain the stylistic change. But this is good female-fronted traditional doom, and I don't remember much else about it, so I put it up in here so I can revisit it. That's what the crate's for. You gotta respect the crate. Most played record. Plenty of stuff that I own. I've rebought several times, and I've played hundreds or thousands of times in my life. My most recent played over and over again to death record came out a couple of years ago. I still listen to it all the time. Is this band Battle Ruins? It's a Boston band, mostly a studio project. They're playing their only American show tomorrow. It's been sold out for over a year. It's completely ridiculous. But the music's you listen to the music and you'd know why. The link's down in my little playlist there. It's Viking rock, Viking oi. It's a combination of like mid-tempo, really mean-sounding, kind of oi street punk sort of stuff. You know, Blitz or Foreskins or whatever, with gruff oi vocals with soaring kind of new wave of British heavy metal vocals behind them. If anybody out there has heard Magic Circle, it's the same singer. If that gives you any idea what the metal kind of vocals sound like. A lot of good leads, just complete like march off into battle with your mates kind of stuff. But check it out if you can. That record is insanely hard to find. Hopefully it gets a repress so everybody can enjoy it. If not, just steal it from online at the moment, I guess. Rarity. All right, Rarity. Last in line. This is a test press of their 7-inch Crosswalk, which is great. Western Mass had a lot of sick, fast hardcore punk coming out from like 98 till 2005. There's like The Prowl, These Guys, Dragnet, a bunch of bands I'm forgetting. Last in Line kind of led the charge, though. They certainly had a lot of negative approach, negative effects, negative band kind of influence, but did their own thing with it. A lot of lyrics about being pissed off and hating people, but then the occasional song about horror movies, which is cool. Kind of explains the cover art, Yeah, great little record. A friend of mine just traded that to me a few years ago. Rainy Day record. It's raining right now. I don't really feel compelled to listen to anything different than what I would listen to if it's sunny out. However, I did have an old friend of mine over to my house maybe 7 years ago, a high school friend that I was really close with, and she was into this kind of folky, or grew up with this kind of folky, hippie, 70s kind of stuff, and I actually really like a few of these bands, like Fairport Convention, Planksty, and I remember listening to this band along those lines, Pentangle, Reflections, really, really nice, really melodic, beautiful female vocals. I'm trying to remember the name of the vocalist. Terry Cox, I guess? I don't know. Great voice, all pretty much acoustic, a lot of old folk songs from God knows when, like the 1800s, I think, redone, like a lot of those bands did. Feel good record. Had to go with Rose Tattoo, Assault and Battery. It was hard picking one out of I think they're the first three, from Assault and Battery and Rock and Roll Outlaw and this one. But I kind of went with this because All the Lessons is probably my favorite song. Almost punk tempo, just raucous choruses. For those of you who haven't heard this band, if you like AC/DC, specifically Bon Scott era, and you'd like to hear that a little bit faster and meaner, look no further. Supposedly these guys were a big influence on Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses had them open for them every time they toured Australia. Random fact, I could care less, really. But yeah, I mean, if you like, a lot of punk, people into punk like this band because it's so damn close, but it's, make no mistake, it's just ballsy, ass-kicking rock and roll. It's got some slide guitar, but it works. Not really a fan of slide guitar in most cases, but definitely make an exception for these guys. Yeah, nostalgic record. Rancid, let's go. I don't really have anything bad to say about this. It definitely don't reach for it much anymore. It's not like I'm going to credit it for getting me into punk. I was into punk 4 years before this came out. But when it came out, I mean, it's sonically perfect sounding. Matt Freeman, hell of a bassist. Some really good songs, you know. I just kind of filed it away after a while, you know. But I once in a blue moon, I do get in the mood for it, you know. Kind of the whole era of all this stuff like not being cool to listen to anymore because they were sellouts and it's, you know, we're all underground and blah 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 is over. Like, who cares anymore? It's a good record. Like to me, it's like almost just like a GBH early Clash mix up and modern production. That's fine with me. I like both those bands. What the hell? Record store day purchase. I worked at a record store a few record store days in a row. I can echo the sentiments of everybody else. Fuck that stupid holiday, whatever, consumer holiday. A couple of good things come out usually every year. I usually don't pay attention. I think the last time I went to one of these was years after I worked at a record store. I went to the one at Armageddon Records in Cambridge. Yeah, because this is from 2014. It's Poison Idea Getting the Fear single reissue. I think it was originally a 12-inch. Don't quote me on that, but you know, Poison Idea was originally a really stripped down, fast hardcore band, you know, not too different from Jerry's Kids or DRI or that kind of thing. As the 80s wore on, they got a lot more skilled playing their music. I think they added a guitarist. They changed up some members here and there. And, you know, got sort of a metallic edge, but never went crossover. They just got really, really good at playing their instruments and writing really great songs. The album to check out is definitely Feel the Darkness. This is, I think 2 years before that debuted. Just real mean, shit-kicking, gnarly stuff. Yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. R.I.P. Pig Champion. Recent purchase. Just bought a couple of pricey 7-inches on Discogs. I've been doing that lately, kind of getting these sort of rare death metal singles. Not exactly sure why. I think just aesthetically it's nice. I mean, part of me wants to follow in the footsteps of a couple of my friends and go after those Seraphic Decay ones, but man, those are friggin' expensive. And a lot of those bands I don't even really care for. But anyhow, I picked up Early Relapse record here, Early Relapse pressing. I don't know what, Single Series 009, so pretty early on. It's a Ratravor, completely swampy morass of brutal, sludgy, primal, cavemanish, delicious death metal. The name of the 7-inch is Copulation of the Virtuous and Vicious. So it basically means nice people and mean people having sex. I don't think that's supposed to mean anything. Anyway, great record. Wanted to hear them for years since I was a kid. I saw the name on like Suffocation thanks lists and a lot of New York bands and stuff. For years I thought they were from the New York area or Jersey area. I believe they're actually from Pittsburgh. But yeah, like I said, just nasty. The vocals are probably the most brutal and guttural this side of Demolich for the era. So, I mean, you know, this was a lot of money. If you want to actually get a physical product, I think they have a discography CD of like all their singles and stuff. They also have a full length, but they have a discography CD, which is really, really good. That's floating around Discogs, eBay, whatever. So, you know, check that out. Check out some tracks online. I'll put some on the YouTube playlist and all that stuff. And that's about it. Keep me posted. Let me know what you guys think. It's going to be a weekend of gigs. There's one tonight with Foreseen. That Battle Ruins gig is tomorrow. And if I have the energy and the money, Dark Side NYC, which is Alan Blake from Sheer Terror's band After Sheer Terror, and local favorites Panzer Bastard are playing. It's a whole thing. So I hope to enjoy that. Maybe I'll share some thoughts about the shows if I feel so inclined, if I remember it. But until then, everybody have a good weekend.